Let's have a conversation in a reality TV show format. No pretense, as if the cameras was off.
Okay.
And it's just us talking. We're gonna have a conversation about who is Dr. Jamal Bryant? Who is Jamal? Who is Harrison? Who is Bryant?
Probably the most talked about and misunderstood figure in the body of Christ in the 21st century.
Well, let's fix that.
Okay.
How do we fix that?
When we were little, long before Atari, Nintendo, or Wii, something you can't even find but unless you go on eBay, called kaleidoscopes. You have to look at it through a small hole, but every time you turn it, you see a different angle of the same colors, but it's hit from a different way. So who is Jamal Bryant that would, in fact, talk about the responsibility of black man while having a child out of wedlock? Who's a person who would, in fact, safeguard family values and be against same-sex marriage, being a divorcee? Who is Jamal Bryant who enforces every minister I license has to have a bachelor's degree and I have a GED? Who is Jamal Bryant that would, in fact, have a mega church but still understands the minor touch? So all of that is, in fact, different dimensions of how you turn it and seeing it from a different angle. And the reality is, every day I'm seeing another part of who I am that may be dormant, may be suppressed, but God only lets it be revealed only when a turn takes place.
Every day I be hustling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Bryant is who?
Bryant is the evidence of the Old Testament call of Aaron. In the Old Testament, Bishop, God never called individuals to preach, he called families. I'm a third generation preacher. My father's presiding bishop of the AME Church. My mother is an evangelist and a missionary. My sister's a clinical psychologist and a preacher. My grandfather's former bishop in the AME Church. My aunt is a preacher in the AME Church. My 18-year-old daughter is a preacher. And so I come out of the line of preaching, stuck in an apostolic caste system, that I couldn't be a cobbler or a baker, couldn't be a banker or a lawyer. I'm called in a family and a line of the priesthood.
So Harrison is who?
Harrison.
Where did you get that name from?
It's my grandfather. It's Harrison James Bryant.
Okay.
My uncle, who was wonderfully gifted, classically trained.
Because the way it's stated is as if it's hyphened, like
Jamal Harrison, not Harrison Bryant.
Okay.
So my father's older brother died at 25 of leukemia, and he wanted, in the Old Testament tradition, make sure his brother's name was not forgotten.
Yes.
And so I carry on the legacy of an incredibly gifted man who wasn't able to live to see his ministry bloom.
And Jamal.
Yeah, is Arabic for beautiful spirit. My parents came up in the Black Power movement. They met on the campus of Boston University and were very much a part of the pro-black movement at the time. My grandfather, Bishop, ironically was from Baltimore, but he was the Bishop of South Africa and couldn't get into South Africa for 18 months because he fought against apartheid. My earliest memory of my grandfather, Harrison James Bryant, was watching him get arrested outside the South African embassy in Washington, D.C. For Nelson Mandela to be freed from jail.
So that's who Jamal is?
Jamal is a trumpet. He's a trumpet and a drum. That you find out from an African drum that you can have the best leather nailed to the best wood, but it will not give its greatest sound until it gets hit. And so I don't produce until I'm in pain. And so I know that when I'm in a cycle of transition is when I'm going through seasons that hurt me the most.